Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone that rule well. And peace and salutations to the elect of Israel. To you I say Shalom. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the flock of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai. And that flock of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai are the 12 tribes of Israel, man. That's why I got the chart sign that you can see now. And these are the descendants of Israel, man. The people that you see today, the people that are alive today aren't described in the Bible as so-called black people, so-called Spanish people, so-called white people, so-called Chinese people, and so on and so forth. All right. These are the biblical nationalities of the so-called African American man today. This is Judah, the biblical nationality of the so-called West Indians, which is your so-called Jamaicans, so-called Trinidadians, so-called Bahamians. Right? They're from the tribe of Benjamin. All right, biblical nationality of and so on and so forth. So on the right side of this chart is what is basically the byword that was placed on us, right, throughout captivity. But the names on the left are the names that the Lord gave to us, right? So we were never called so-called Haitians. We were called Levites. We was never called Colombians. They were called Asherites, and so on and so forth, man. All right. So why put on a name that man gave you? Why not call yourself what God called you, right? God called you the children of Israel. Israel meaning Yasharallah in the Paleo Hebrew, which means he prince power. He is a prince of the power. And when you're a prince, you're the son, a son of a king, right? So why not call yourself after royalty instead of after your slave name? African American, Jamaican, Haitian, Native American, man. These are slave names, man. All right, but the reason I was creating this lesson is to show that the kingdom is only for Israel, like it always has been since the beginning, man. All right, let me jump over to the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 36. I'll start at verse 11. Gather all the tribes of Jacob together. Again, all the tribes being the 12 tribes that you see on the chart, and inherit thou them as from the beginning. Right, just like it always has been. Right, the covenant was made with Israel. Right, this is Malachi chapter 3 and verse 6. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob, again going back to Israel, because Jacob's name was changed to Israel after his encounter with the angel, right? Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed, all right? This is why the remnant of Israel are still alive, man, all right? Because of the covenant and the promises the Lord gave to us, man, all right? But on the flip side of this, when you look at this chart, that doesn't mean that, if you're so-called black, you're an Israelite, or if you're so-called Puerto Rican, you're an Israelite. If you're so-called Haitian, you're an Israelite. If you're so-called from Panama, you're an Israelite, man. All right, because as we know throughout the scriptures and the curses, that Israel was scattered all across the earth, man, all across the four corners of the globe. James 1:1 tells you that actually, let me just get it. It's the book of James, chapter 1 and verse 1. James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. All right, again, going back to this chart, these are the 12 tribes. Right, the 12 tribes were scattered abroad. Right, and we understand that your lineage is passed down through the seed, through the man. Right, Revelation 21 talks about how the tabernacle of the Most High is with men. All right, so the Lord is dealing with the men. All right, so the men is the head of the household, and the children are of the seed of the man. So our lineage goes back to the men. So if you're in another nation, right? Let's say if you're a so-called black man in Ireland, and you have a child with a so-called white woman, that child's gonna come out light skinned. Now, if that child, following his father's footsteps, has sex with a so-called white woman, has another a child by her, that child's going to be even lighter, or if not, look like a so-called white child, right? But that child is still the Israelite according to the seed of the father, right? Because that child, the grandchild's father, was an Israelite. The child's father was an Israelite, right? So the father's father was an Israelite, so on and so forth. It goes by the seed of the man. Doesn't matter who you lay down with as a woman, right? Because men create Israelites. Nations are created by men, right? Nations are created out of the seed of a man. What did the angel tell Sarah? Two nations are in thy womb. Not Salakia or Rebecca. Two nations are in thy womb, man. All right? Two different manners of people. Two nationalities. All right? Even though it's the same father, it's still two nations, two different people. All right? So, yes, nations are created by men. All right? This is why when, technically when you kill a man, you're really destroying a nation. Because that man could have a seed, even if he only has one seed, right? That one seed could have 8 seeds. Those 8 seeds could have 2 seeds each, and so on and so forth, right? This is the beginning of a nation. This is why a so-called Israelite man, an elect Israelite man's life is precious, man. All right, it's very precious. So all of Israel's lives are precious, but 2/3 don't regard their lives, man. 2/3 are have made a covenant with death, so they regard death more than anything. But let me jump back to Sirach 36. Sirach 36 and verse 12. O Lord, have mercy upon the people that is called by thy name, and upon Israel, whom thou hast named thy firstborn. All right, have mercy upon who? Thy people, which are the people of Israel, man. The people that the Lord made a covenant with as from the beginning, right? Nothing changes, man. The Lord doesn't change his ways, right? If the Lord changes ways, the scriptures will be filled with contradictions, man. Filled with them. But the scriptures are uniform and they align together perfectly, man. You just gotta understand how to read it. And you gotta understand the spirit. Alright? This is Sirach 36 and 13. Oh, be merciful unto Jerusalem, thy holy city, the place of thy rest. Alright? Again, this is talking about the people of Israel, man. Not you so-called Israelis, but the Israelites. An Israeli is just somebody that lives in the land of Israel, right? An Israelite is somebody that descends from the man of Israel, man. It's two different separations there, man. And really, if when you understand the words that you're saying, right? This is why the elders and apostles of GMS speak about talking about looking into words and understanding the meaning of words, man. Because 9 out of 10 people don't understand the words that come out of their mouth. They just say it, just to say it, not realizing that every word has meaning. Every word has power, man. Right. So again, going back to Israelis, Israelis don't call themselves Israelites, but they call themselves the chosen people, because even they don't understand the words, man. So this is only for the Israelites, man. Verse 14. Fill Zion with unspeakable oracles, and thy people with thy glory. Again, this is speaking about a specific group of people, right? The specific group is the 12 tribes, that, as we read in verse 11. This is only for the Israelites. Verse 15, Sirach 36 and 15, give testimony unto those that thou hast possessed from the beginning, and raise up prophets that have been in thy name. Right? And these prophets are raised up today, man. Starting, with the elders and apostles, great millstones, and on down, man. Really, truly starting with Abba Bivens and on down. Verse 16, reward them that wait for thee, and let thy prophets be found faithful. All right? Reward them that wait for thee. Who's waiting for the Lord? And the return of the Lord is the elect, man. The elect is hastening the day, right? Just like the elders and apostles coined this year, hastening the day of, or the year of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua turning up, man. That's hastening the day. If the Lord is turning up, then that's hastening the day, man. All right? Except for the elect sakes, those days shall be shortened, man. All right. Then this is the time that we're in now. But let me jump over to the next chapter. This again proves that this is for Israelites only, man. The Sirach 37 and 25. The days of the life of a man may be numbered, but the days of Israel are innumerable. And when something's innumerable, that means it's without number. That means you couldn't count it even if you tried, man. Because the numbers just keep going up and up and up, man. Numbers really have no end. All right. You could count to, I believe, a Google is 100 numbers. Right. The word Google goes into 100 numbers, if I'm not mistaken. Salakia. Yep, but it's spelled different. A Google is a large number to the hundredth power. All right. In decimal notation, it is written as the digit one followed by 100 zeros. All right, so Google is 100 digits, man. But even then, there's numbers after that as well, man. All right, so in the kingdom of heaven, Jake is gonna live to a Google and beyond, man. Yeah, this is a massive number. This number is, you really can't fathom how large this number truly is, man. So you got 100,000, million, 100 million, 100 billion, 100 trillion, and then so far beyond that, man. All right. We jump back to Sirach 37 and 25. The days of the life of a man may be numbered, but the days of Israel are innumerable. All right. And this is truly just the days of a life of a man. 3 digits, 100 years, man. This is truly the days of the life of flesh, man. But Israel cannot be numbered. The days of an Israelite man in the kingdom could never be numbered, man. All right. People are going to shatter this number in age, man. Which is mind-boggling, man. All right. We jump over to the book of Joel, chapter 2. It's Joel 2 and 27. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord Yahweh, your power, and none else. Right? There's only one group of people. That's for the Israelites. That's who the Lord, chose as his possession, man. The Lord's not dealing with these other nations, man. He's really not. And this is found in the Old Testament, the New Testament, the Apocrypha, however you want to slice and dice it, man. Because the Lord never changes, man. While he said in one book, he's going to say in another book the same exact thing, man. He might say it differently, but it's going to be the same exact thing. Sometimes it's quoted verbatim, all right? And my people shall never be ashamed, right? We'll never be ashamed because we understand that our power is a true power, right? Anything that he says shall come to pass. So if he says that we're going to go into captivity, we are witnessing us in captivity. But if he says that we're also going to receive salvation, we're going to witness the receiving of our salvation. And the other nations will witness it too, man. They'll be in that Wisdom of Solomon 5 spirit, man. All right? But we have nothing to be ashamed about, man. Even though we receive shame for serving the Lord on this side, but we're going to receive glory for serving the Lord on the next, man. And in a way, we receive glory now. Because what does the scripture say? When a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him, man. So if your enemies being at peace with you because of their way, not because the Lord made them be at peace with you because he likes what you're doing, your ways are pleasing unto him, right? Then that's a form of glory, man. All right. Let me jump over to the book of Psalms, right? Because Joel talks about how, or the Lord talks about how his people will never be ashamed. Psalms 25 and 19, consider mine enemies, for they are many, and they hate me with cruel hatred. All right, and Lord, consider our enemies, man. Consider that we are in the midst of our enemies, that we have to go to them for the want of all things, man. Consider that, man. Verse 20, oh, keep my soul and deliver me. Let me not be ashamed, for I put my trust in thee, right? It's like if you ever had that feeling where, maybe as a child in school and, you're waiting for your ride, your parents to come pick you up. When your parents don't come and at the time they say they're going to come, you low-key feel ashamed. Right? You be like, damn, my parents forgot about me. Damn, I put my trust in them. I should have took the bus. So on and so forth. Now you're feeling ashamed. Everybody's parents are coming to pick them up. Everybody's getting ready to go home, getting delivered out of that captivity called school, man. All right? But then you're stuck behind twiddling your thumbs, waiting. All right? You feel ashamed. All right, then you'll see your auntie or one of your cousins or your older brother come pick you up instead. Like, damn, I thought my parents were coming, but I put my trust in them. They never came. This is not how Jake is going to feel serving the Lord, man. We put our trust in the Lord, and he's going to come deliver us, man. All right, it may not be at the time that we want, but he's coming for sure, man. All right, we're never going to see the shame. All right, but shame is going to cover our enemies, man. All right, let me get one more. I'm going to wrap it up, Lord willing. This is Joel 3, starting from the top. Hear this word that the Lord Yahweh has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, right, this who was delivered out of Egypt, man. Israelites were delivered out of Egypt, all right? Just like Sirach 36 said, as from the beginning, It's always been about Israel, man. It's never changing. There's no so-called heathens getting grafted in, man. Slocking. There's no heathens getting grafted in, right? There's no salvation is for everybody. None of all of that is false, man. All of that is false doctrine. And if people are preaching that, then they're adding and taking away from the book, man. You're adding that everybody could be saved. It doesn't say that, man. It never says that, man. When it says all, it's talking or world, it's talking about the world of Israel. All right. Hear this, Amos 3:1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities, man. And this is why these people are so downtrodden in these days, man. And going back to my point earlier, just because you're not a so-called Puerto Rican doesn't mean you can't be an Israelite, man. All right, because again, Israel was scattered all throughout the four corners of the earth. You got Israelites in China, all right? They might think that they're Chinese. They might look Chinese, but their lineage goes back to Israel. Their lineage goes back to the seed of Jacob, man. They just think that they are because, the indoctrination of the people around them. But their spirit is not that of a so-called Chinese man. Their spirit is not that of a Moabite. The spirit is of an Israelite, man. All right? Just because you look a certain way doesn't mean that you can or cannot be an Israelite, man. It's not about the outward appearance, man. The Lord doesn't judge people on the outward appearance. He judges a man on their heart and their spirit. All right? To judge somebody on their outward appearance, to decipher whether they're Israelite or not, is really carnal, man. All right? And you got to give the Lord more credit than that. You got to give wisdom more credit than that, man. Let me get one more. I'm going to wrap it up, Lord willing. This is Isaiah chapter 55. Isaiah 55:8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord Yahweh. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. All right, because you got Jake out here thinking Israelites are so-called black only, man. That everybody black is an Israelite, man. That's false, man. That's the ways of man. That's the thoughts of man. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, man. All right. And when I was looking for this chart, I came across one of these so-called Negro-only charts, man. The 12 tribes of Israel, and they're saying that all the tribes of Israel are Negro only, man. Not you got some so-called Negro Edomites today, man. All right, 2/3 of our people are in the Edomite spirit, man, because they are of their father, the devil. Like I said before, it goes by the lineage of man. And they're not literally born of the devil, but they're following the devil's ways, man. All right, they're following the devil's mindset. Can two walk together lest they be agreed? So if you walking with the devil, you agreeing with the devil, you are the devil, man. All right, just like if you got a group of women and all of them are harlots, if one of them is not a harlot, she'll eventually become a harlot if she keeps hanging around harlotry, man. Because can two walk together unless they be agreed, man? But this chart right here is false, man. They might have been Negro back in the day, so-called Negro back in the day. They might have been melanated back in the day, right? But through migration, through captivity, color changes, man. All right, but I'm gonna wrap it up with that. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone that rule well. And peace and salutations to the elect of Israel. Until next time, I want to say shalom and abad ball.